Welcome to month 6, the final month of the transformation series, self-acceptance and self-love. And what I want to touch on here is something that I've been mentioning a lot in the previous months, which is our obsession with perfection. Okay, this need to be 100% perfect in every single way. I must have the perfect body, the perfect personality, the perfect partner, the perfect friends, the perfect job, the perfect life. I must be perfect. I need to be perfect. Okay, and this, of course, is a huge barrier that blocks us from self-acceptance and self-love because, hey, if you're not 100% perfect in every single way, how could you possibly accept and love yourself? Something we've all been conditioned to believe. And if you want to test this, imagine I ask you right now, can you fully accept and love yourself as you are? Right now, at this moment in time, you watching this video right now, can you fully accept and love every single thing about you? And you're probably cringing at the idea and freaking the fuck out. You know, you're probably thinking, oh my God, no. I still have to fix this. I still have to work on this. I still have to do this. I still have to accomplish that. There's this goal. Oh my God, in my body, I got to get in shape. I got to read this book. I got to get smarter. I need cooler friends. I need more status. I need to have a better life. I'm not perfect yet. You know, I haven't met the condition of perfection. Okay, so this is, of course, something that you want to let go of. Letting go of perfection. Now, I do want to make it clear, though, that this does not mean giving up or settling or tolerating in any way, because that's what we think. We think very black and white. It's like, well, give up on perfection. That means just settle for this and just remain like this? No. Okay, remember, it's not the thing, but the place it's coming from. When you're attached to being perfect, I must be perfect, it's coming from a place of desperation and self-hate. And this is big, okay? If you're a perfectionist, you hate a lot about yourself right now, okay? Because what are you doing? You're basically hating where you're at, trying to be perfect in order to stop hating where you're at, okay? The perfectionist is the self-hater. I hate this, gotta change it. What I'm saying here is instead of coming from this place of self-hate, what about accepting and loving where you're at, and then from there, taking whatever action you feel inspired to take? Okay, you can still take action out of self-love. You can still work on yourself and say, accomplish different things out of self-love. It's about changing the place it's coming from, changing that relationship you have with yourself. Okay, and I really like to compare this once more to, say, composing a song or making a video or making a program just like the one you're watching right now. Okay, when I make a program, I'm loving every little step of the process. Okay, it's not like I'm creating this program and it's only when it's done. It's only when month 6 here, self-acceptance and self-love is out, that I can finally have the perfect program and love it and accept it. No, I love it every step of the way. I love it when it's not complete yet. I love it when we're going through the months. I love it when I'm recording it. I love it when I'm writing out the outlines for different videos. I love every little step of the way. You do that with yourself. Why can't you love and accept every little step of the journey that is the evolution and expansion of you? Versus, I hate me now, I need to get to the finish line, I need to get to the finish line of perfection. No. What it really comes down to is detaching your self-worth with the achievement of perfection. Okay? And some key questions to ask yourself here are, what's so bad about fully accepting and loving myself as I am right now? What's so bad about not being perfect? What if I am never perfect? Okay, what sensations come up? Dive into those and let go of them. Okay, you can also practice saying to yourself, I fully accept and love myself as I am right now. And just notice how you feel when you say that. Okay, and most likely a lot of resistance will come up. You may feel a little bit off. You know, it's like, look at yourself in the mirror. I fully accept and love myself as I am right now. Dive into those sensations and let go of them. And you can do this with everything. You know, a common thing we hate about ourselves is our body. Okay, so as an exercise, try this out. Go in front of the mirror, fully nude, full naked. and look at yourself and look at the parts of your body that you hate. And then try saying, I fully accept and love, XYZ part of my body as it is right now. What sensations come up? Let go of those. Okay? You must let go of that resistance you have towards accepting and loving yourself as you are right now. And once more, this doesn't mean that you will stay like this and you have to stay like this. It's about making peace with who you are. Okay? And beyond that, something you should really ask yourself is, what is perfection? What is perfect? Really sink into this question. What is perfect? Define it. What does it look like? What is it exactly? And what you realize is that there is no such thing as a universal perfect. Just take a second, try to define it. Explain perfect. Explain this condition you're trying to meet. What is it? It doesn't exist. Okay, why? Because it depends on the person and the perspective they have at the time. Okay, if you take body perfection, for example, one person may think that body perfection is being extremely lean and ripped. Okay, very skinny, very in shape and just ripped. If you're a guy, you have that 8-pack. That's body perfection. Another person may think, no, that's not body perfection. Body perfection is when you're big, when you bulk, and you have those fucking gains, man. You have that mass. That's body perfection. Everyone has a different opinion on what body perfection is. And guess what? With time, opinions change as well. Some person may think, it's being skinny and ripped. 2 years later, no, it's bulked. 2 years later, ripped again. It's always changing. So realize there's no way of achieving this perfection even if you tried. You may temporarily kid yourself into thinking you've achieved it. If we take once more that example of body perfection. Let's just say you're around a group of people, and in that group of people, body perfection, it's collectively agreed upon that it's very slim and ripped. And for 2 years, you really hang out with that circle of people, and you get really slender and ripped. You're like, yes, I made it. Body perfection, check. But then guess what? Are you going to just stay in that little circle, that little bubble your entire life? No. Eventually, you'll encounter someone new. And their idea of body perfection might be different. And then you're going to question everything about what you've been doing. You're like, wait, is it this? And then you might chase getting big and bulked up. So you're always chasing new conditions. There's no finish line. Okay? And I remember, really being affected by this when I was younger, just with clothes. And I'm sure you can relate to this too, where you might watch a movie and you see this really awesome character. And this character has a certain style of clothing, this style of personality, of haircut. And you're like, whoa, I need to be like that. That's perfection. If I looked like that, I could finally accept and love myself. And then you watch another movie and it's the opposite. You're like, oh man, no, it's about, instead of wearing those clothes, it's these clothes, and it's that look and that haircut. And oh my God, it's having a beard and this. It's being fatter. It's being more slender. It's continuously changing. So if you actually sit down and ask yourself, what's perfection? It doesn't exist. Okay? And not just that, but a lot of what we think is perfect too isn't even realistic. If you look at someone in that movie, you're like, whoa, look at how ripped they are and how they look. A lot of that is, guess what? Lighting, different effects. With social media, this is amplified too. If you scroll through Instagram, you might be comparing yourself to some of the pictures there, and you're like, how do I look like that? If I looked like that, I could finally accept and love myself, but that isn't even real. Most of the stuff you watch on Instagram is tweaked and photoshopped. It's not what the person actually looks like, or there's a lot of lighting. Now, you may think, no, not in this picture. Guess what? Most of the pictures you don't think there's lighting, that's when the lighting is done right. Okay? Just as another exercise, go out in the street and look around you. Look at the people around you in the street. Do any of them look like some of the pictures you see on Instagram? I don't think so. Or very rarely. Maybe once you'll be like, whoa, if the sun comes from this angle and really captures the person, you're like, oh, it's like Instagram. I realize too that with Instagram or even social media, you only see a small part of that person. a very controlled part of that person. You don't see them in their entirety. You don't fully see them. So you're comparing everything about you versus only a small part of who they are. And guess what? That's not their entirety. They're not always that small part. If you see someone who's always smiling and having a great time online, you may think that they are always like that. You're like, man, that's perfection. When I'm always having a great time, why do I still have shitty emotions? Guess what? They have that too. They are human as well. Okay? So don't buy into that either. But the big thing here is really to realize that you can't achieve perfection because it doesn't exist. Okay? So stop buying into this idea of perfection and instead start buying into you. Okay, there's so much focus nowadays on being perfect, on being the best, on being the strongest, that we forget about being ourselves. We stop valuing who we are. We value perfection, not us. No. Since when did you stop valuing who you are? Since when did being you stop being good enough? And instead you try to be perfect. No. Start being you. Okay? And this is really what perfection is to me. It's when you're being you fully and you're accepting that and loving that. And funny enough, guess what? That's when you are at your quote unquote best, smartest, strongest. Because there's no longer that divide. There's no longer self-hate. There's no longer resistance in you. You're embodying everything that you are. And that's when you really come from a position of strength, a position of power, and you fucking thrive. Okay, it's by being you fully, accepting you fully, and loving you fully. Some of the things that really help me with this too, one is reminding myself that it's okay to be weird, okay? And that it's not just okay to be weird, it's encouraged to be weird. Be weird. You're watching this video, be weird and love being weird, okay? Why? Because even weird, it's not even that you're weird, it's you being unique. Be unique, be you. Stop trying to fit in, stop trying to conform, stop trying to be perfect, which is ultimately trying to be something that you're not. Be you. Embrace your uniqueness. That's the only way to be. Okay? And hanging out around quote unquote weird / unique people helps as well. People who don't necessarily conform to the perfectionist norm, trying to be perfect. Why? Because it allows you and gives you permission to be weird yourself. Okay, if you hang out with some of those people who stand out a lot, it allows you to stand out as well. It's like, look at them, they're so weird. I guess it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be me. Okay, I personally hang out with quote unquote dorky people all the time. And it's such a refresher too from, again, just due to the way that we're conditioned, most people, where you can actually feel at ease a bit. It's when you're around those dorky, fun, weird, unique characters that you can be a little bit more of yourself. Okay, this outer approach here is so beneficial. It really helps in terms of buying into who you are and loving yourself more. Okay, another thing is shifting away from comparing yourself to others and instead comparing yourself to you. Okay, now I do want to mention here that comparing yourself to others can be beneficial at times, okay, especially say in terms of just general awareness. However, most of the time it's just self-abuse. Okay, so instead compare yourself to you. More precisely, compare yourself to a previous version of you. Okay, and not negatively. It's not like, oh my God, look at this shit, I look at my previous me, fuck that previous me. No, look at you, say 6 months ago, you a year ago, and take in how far you've come. Love that you, but then love where you are now in relation to that previous you. Not someone else, you. And be fucking proud. Be like, fuck yeah, look at that. Okay, this really helps buying into yourself. And something to help with this too is keeping a journal. And it doesn't have to be full detailed, like, I ate this for breakfast at 9:23 a.m. Just a few notes every single day. Take some pictures of you. Keep a journal of how you used to think, how you used to react to things, what your goals were. And then look a year later, 2 years later, and read that journal and see perhaps some of the goals you've accomplished or how you think differently or how different things affect you differently. Take that in. Okay. Being grateful for who you are and where you're at helps as well. Practicing gratitude. This really shifts your perspective away from lack. Okay, why? Because if you think about it, that's what trying to be perfect does. It brings awareness to everything we lack. I'm not there yet. I haven't done this yet. I haven't fixed this. My body's not perfect yet. Lack, lack, lack. And when you're grateful, instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focus on what you do have. And you realize what you do have. You know, it's crazy. I really think this, like some people are so focused, and I used to really be like this, by the way, when I'm like, some people, that includes me, so focused on being perfect, again, being the best, that we don't even ever acknowledge, you know, what we do have. We're so focused on what we don't have, and we've been focusing on what we don't have for so long, we've never taken a second, taken a fucking breather to realize what we have. What do you have? And you see, like, shit, there's a lot of value here. You know, take that in. And lastly here, seeing behind the scenes of a person and accepting it helps tremendously as well. You know, see past the fronts that people, you know, put on, where again, you're comparing everything that you are towards that front. No, see past the front, see people in their entirety, and don't judge them for it, accept it. And the more accepting you are of that, of a person in their entirety, on one hand, it gives you a more realistic view, and the more accepting you can be of who? Yourself in your entirety. Okay? And for this, watch the transformational infield video this month. You will see people dropping their fronts and opening up and being more authentic. And it really gives you that sense of unity where you also realize, like, it's not just me. You know, we tend to think that we're so fucked up, there's like a defect in us and everyone else is so perfect. No, we're all the same. You know, there's that saying, the more personal the wound, the more universal the wound. You know, and we're a lot more connected than we think we are. And you'll most likely realize that going through the transformational infield video where you see, wow, I can relate to a lot of this. Whoa, I guess it's okay to think that. Oh, I guess it's okay to be a little bit more of me. You know, I can accept and love a little bit more of me. And building on this, to conclude here, I do want to add that when I say buy into yourself, you know, buy into you, love yourself, this does not mean viewing yourself as above or better than anyone else. Okay? It's not, I'm up here, yes, I am amazing, fuck the rest. No. Okay? It's about realizing, and this is huge, and this is what I'll leave you with, it's about realizing that no one is better than or less than anyone else. No one is better or less than you. And you are not better than or less than anyone. And guess what? That's just perfect.